Good afternoon, YouTube. It is I, Danielle, better known as Danielle Happy Medium, and welcome back to our channel. I hope you all had a lovely weekend. And in today's video tutorial or subject matter up for discussion today, off the back of a question of one of my girls out in Canada, we're going to talk a little bit about pulling evidence and why we may pull evidence a little early, how we can stop this, and what actually does happen when we pull evidence a little too early in our communications. Now, you might see this a little bit on open circles, and I know through running some of my own open circles and coaching circles available on the website, which is www.daniellehappymedium.com if you're interested in them. I've watched some of the girls in there who started to write down information, or they've getting their link and they've started to jot things down while everybody else in the circle is sort of doing their communications or just sort of waiting their turn. Now, it goes on also on private readings, and it also goes on demonstrations and mediumship. And for me, I was one of them mediums who did this when I was first out of the block, for when I was sort of training and developing. And so I get all of this. I've been here, I've done this one, I've got the t-shirt, and I understand it quite well. And the reason we do this for is because we're a little nervous. We're a little worried that if, when it comes to being our turn, the spirit world won't be there, or the fact that we won't be able to produce the evidence in that open circle, or on that sitting, or on sort of them demonstrations of mediumship. So in order to do it, as a safeguard, we will bring our communication forward, we will jot down information, and then when it is our time, we will then give that information. The problem with this is ultimately, once you've particularly took that evidence, it's very hard to sort of go back into it. And what can happen is that it becomes what we call a memory. So you have had the communicator forward, the communicator has given you all the information that is needed, and then you've let them go. So your mind has let it go. You've moved your mind away from that communicator. Now that communicator will still be available to you, but you're going to have a tougher time having to go back over that information, because it's a bit like a photograph. This is the best way I can put it. Once we take a photograph, that stillness in time, that's it, that's that piece of evidence. And when we then get that evidence again, it will be sort of reworked through the mind, so you've took another photo. So for example, when we have a camera, I'm on a camera at the moment, and we can sort of get the camera to sort of take 3 photos within like a 30-second interval or a second interval or whatever. It's a bit like that. But the only problem is that when we go back to the communicator, that information will be reworked again through our mind, because our mind will be in a different space to when it was when we first hit that communicator. And the problem with this is that we will then get another interpretation of that piece of evidence. So we can get 3 pictures, but each one will look a slightly different, because it was taken in a slightly different angle, a slightly different time, slightly different lighting, whatever it is that you want to put your terminology around it. So for me, it's a real toughie, this one, and it shows in, for me, a worry in the medium. There's still some work that needs to be done here, is the medium, in respect of trust, in respect of sort of, working with the spirit world and believing that they'll be there. Now, another inspirational question that was also asked of me, a particular lady, was that a lot of the sort of circles that she'd been to across, obviously social media platforms, there had been particular students in there who had actually already got their communicators through and weren't even in the circle. They'd gone into the circle with the bits of paper. Now, for me, let's give the pros and cons. Let's work with the intelligence. I didn't really like to get my opinions involved, so I'd rather work with the intelligence. Again, when we work with the intelligence is that the spirit will always know who's in the room. So while granted, yes, that can and will happen, because if you pull the evidence before you actually even go into the room, the intelligence will be right, because ultimately the spirit world knows who's there. The problem with this is that, again, it becomes a memory, and your interpretation of what you got outside of the room to versus what you get inside of the room is very different. And this, again, still has intelligence, but it's a different intelligence. And because of that, we can then get ourselves as a medium very confused, because we think, well, why did we say it that way and now we say it this way? Then also the problem with that there as well is you can't work. So if any of the information is wrong, which we do get it wrong as from time to time as mediums, we do, and we've got to accept that. What will happen is we won't be able to go back to that communicator and ask them what's right, what's wrong, and what's indifferent. And therefore, we then leave bits of evidence for the sitter to either go away and check, or we just leave random bits of information, which then goes against the intelligence, because the spirit world knows what's important. We've got to remember, every time we're doing a communication, there's an element of us in here. There has to be. We can't get away from that. An element of the psychic, the element of the room, and the mediums that may be sitting in that room will all change and alter the information as it's presented to you. And for me, it's not really the best one for you is the Buddha medium to be doing this, but I can understand why you're doing it. And I think it's not about me telling you what's right or what's wrong here. It's about accepting and saying, look, I get you, I hear you, I understand you, but why don't you try trusting in yourself that little bit more and trusting in the spirit world? If it doesn't work for you, then maybe you need to stay there for a little bit longer and allow that mind just to sort of, come when it's ready. And each of us are all different. I've said this 1,000 times on this channel, and I'll say it, I'm blue in the face. Every medium's going to work differently, and every medium's going to want to do it differently. Some minds are ready and some minds are not. The only thing that I'll always say is try to work within them in spiritual intelligence rules. Learn to trust in the spirit world, that they know the information that needs to be given to you. They know what's important to produce in the room. They'll know to help you wherever it is that they need to help you. So when I was asked this question of, why do I think that goes on? This is ultimately the reason as to why. Is it right? In some capacities, maybe. In other capacities, no. It all depends on where the medium is and where the medium's mind is and how much the medium's trusting in themselves and as in the spirit world. And maybe there needs to be some more work done on the instrument or the work or development within the mediumship movement or within that medium and their mediumship development. It's never for me to say it's right nor wrong. Would I do it? And did I do it? Yeah, I did. But then I realised that it wasn't serving me and my mind wanted to move more. So I found another way, which is I just trust in the information that's given to me. I wait my turn. The problem also, and I've just been inspired by the spirit world there as well, when you pull your evidence too early, you're actually draining the communication. You're draining You've got to remember, you're the power. Your mind's holding that information in the spirit world. You're draining your own power by constantly holding your mind over there. And when it actually comes the time to actually give that communication, you could have run out of power because you've maybe been sitting for 20 minutes, half an hour with this communicator who's trying to feed information, and you're going, don't do that. And then ultimately, you're draining your power because you're in the spirit world. You're draining the communication and then representing the communication a totally different way. And it's just a lack of trust. That's all it is. And it's just where you are at this time. And if everybody else is doing it, it's like me saying to you, well, would you jump off the bridge if everybody else was doing it? No. But if you do because you know for all the right reasons of why you do it, then that's okay too. But just because everybody else is doing it shouldn't mean to say that you should do it. Always find your unique way. This video is only an opportunity to explore this topic and to talk about. Let me hear what you think in regards to this topic. Have you seen it go on? Do you agree? Do you not agree? Let me know. For me personally, it's where the medium is at this time. Will there be a change of growth? More than likely, yeah. Is it an opportunity for us to help explore this arena? Of course. But it's just a chance for you as the individual to see all sides of the coin. And I think that's really important in mediumship, that we understand that mediumship is multifaceted. We are multifaceted in all that we do. So for me personally, always work within the parameters of the intelligence, trust in that intelligence. And, if you are doing it that way, why don't you try not doing it that way and see how that works for you? Test yourself, test the spirit world, believe in yourself and believe in them. And you'll find that you won't need to jot things down. You won't need to rewrite things. You won't need to go in there with a list full of communicators, because the spirit world will be there. Don't link until it's your go. As well, that's another big step I want to give you. Don't link to the spirit world until it's your turn. So either the circle leader or the coaching circle leader said, right, it's your go, or you put your hand up because you want to have a go, then link to the spirit world. Don't pull for that communicator until you are ready to speak, and trust in that, and trust in them, and trust in your ability. Remember, these grounds are training grounds. They're meant for training. They're not meant for, you wowing audiences or anything like that. These are just training grounds, coaching circles, open circles, all them types of things are, photo rooms, these types of things. They're all just training grounds. And don't give yourself such a hard time, you know what I mean? Because, you're not quite getting it right first time. This is a really good question, one that I have seen and have done myself. Do I agree with it? Do I not? My opinion's irrelevant here. All I can explore this topic with you and interestingly look at see and how you feel about this other topic subject matter. It's been a pleasure talking to you. I hope you are all well here on the channel. The next video that's coming up on Thursday will also maybe raise a few eyebrows, and a one that I've sort of held off for a little while doing, but we'll see how that one goes. But have a great day, and I look forward to you all, your comments. Like the video, share the video. Thanks to all new subscribers and people who are joined. Thanks for everybody who's talking about the channel out there as well. I've been seeing quite a bit of that recently, so thank you very much. It's an absolute honour and privilege that you speak so highly of me. And I'll see you all on Thursday. Have a great day, no matter where you are. Big kisses from me and the spirit world.